Hi everyone, this is Chico Hospital for Cats podcast, and this is Summit Kaplan. And once again, we are together with a brand new episode. Today we will talk about introducing your new pet to your new home. But before we start, just a quick reminder that you can listen to us on chicocats.com/podcast, on Spotify, as well as on Apple Podcasts, and on any podcast platforms you prefer. So today we have our precious technician, well-experienced, long-time technician, April Davis with us. Hi, April.
Hello, Summit.
How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful.
All right, April. So I know you have a lot of experiences and you are very passionate about when it comes to rescuing animals and adopting them out and just basically helping animals. I know you're so passionate about it, and I also want to thank you for all you do. But we figured today it would be a great way to talk to people and share both your experiences and some tips on how to introduce these kittens or cats once they go to their new home. And I do want to start by asking you how you think the setup in your house should be once somebody decides to take a cat home. Let's say you rescued a cat, you got it to the point where it's ready to go home, and some people decide to take it home. What do you tell them how to set up their homes for the new coming family member?
Well, it depends on if they have pets currently or not. If this is their first pet, what I recommend is getting all the essentials before they take it home: food, dishes, litter box, safe place. If it's a kitten, you want to have a small room or a large kennel for it to stay in when it's not being supervised. If they have pets currently, again, you want a place for it to be safe when you're not supervising them. Mm-hmm. There's always a introductory period for them to get used to each other.
Is it a good idea, as far as the setup, is it a good idea to go buy already a litter box and fill it with litters and go buy some toys and maybe, I don't know, like a cat tree and all that stuff? Or is it better to use what you already have to put in that new setup for this incoming cat?
It's always ideal if they can have their own equipment. That way the older cat doesn't feel like their territory is being
taken over.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you say it's better to actually go for shopping a little bit and buy some little things that's going to help both the new cat and also, as well as if you have other pets, also help the other pets to not feel like their stuff is overtaken by the new member.
Yes.
So what should people look for if they are bringing home a kitten or an adult cat? And like, what are the primary things let's say I never had a cat and I decide to adopt. How do I set up my room for my new family member?
So again, you want to get the essentials: litter pan, appropriate size for the cat. If it's a kitten, important. You can get a smaller one. If it's an adult cat, you want to get one that the cat can comfortably fit in, turn around without touching the sides. Mm-hmm. You want food dishes, water, and food bowl. A lot of cats are actually allergic to plastic, so we do recommend either metal or ceramic dishes.
That's good to know.
Some cats prefer running water, so the water fountains work well for some. And then toys, something to keep them active and entertained. Mm-hmm. Good quality food for the life stage of the cat, kitten, adult, older cat. Mm-hmm. And then a comfortable bed, some place for it to feel safe in. Maybe some
place to hide, like one of those setups that has a little hole where they can go in there.
Either a cat tree that has an enclosed space or a tunnel bed. Cats do like to feel secure and have places to hide in.
So I got my room ready and I'm excited. I go to you or to a shelter or, whatever it is, hospital, and I found this perfect cat. I fall in love with it. I take it home, and I do have other cats in my house. What should be my first plan here to do? Do I just release that cat and say, hey, here's a new friend, go meet each other? Or do I put this cat in a separate place? Or what is your suggestion in this case?
Cats are very territorial, so they don't like new animals to come into their territory. Some adapt faster than others, but we do recommend that there be an introductory period where the new pet is kept separate in a room of their own, letting the two cats smell each other under the door. They can smell each other on you as you go from room to room, getting them used to each other's scent, just being in the house but separated. And after, a few days, a week, if it seems like they're both comfortable with the smells, you can start having introductory periods with them together, supervised. And every cat is different. Some adjust faster than others. So the length of time they'll need to be separated or supervised varies.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up as well, because we heard on our previous episode, we heard from the Beauty Humane adoption manager that some people even bring the adopted cat back even the same day, saying that it hissed or growled. The level of patience here needs to be so big for you to let this cat settle in, right?
Yes.
We're talking about months maybe here sometimes?
It can be months, and sometimes they never truly get along, but they learn to coexist as long as they each have their separate spaces where they can feel comfortable and safe, but they may never be best of friends. But most times they do learn to coexist.
Yeah, and I guess we forgot to mention this before you bring your cat to your new house. I think it's always a good idea to bring it to a veterinarian for a checkup and make sure everything is up to date. There is no concerns, both for the cat you're adopting and as well as the pets you're already owning, right?
Yes, definitely. You want to first make sure that your pet is current, vaccinated, healthy, that they don't have any medical issues that could be exacerbated by the stress of a new pet. And then the new pet, especially if you're getting it from an unknown source or it was a stray, you want to take it to a vet as soon as you can. Make sure it's not bringing in any parasites or diseases that could affect your cat.
And I believe we can say this nationwide probably. I believe if you adopt it from a city shelter or a nonprofit, most places will give you some vouchers to have your first exam used as a free exam. Is that correct?
Most shelters, nonprofits do have some sort of agreement with local veterinarians to do free first exams.
So that's definitely something that should be used. I believe it's in a shorter period of time. Once you adopt a cat, you do have to use it in a week or two, or might change everywhere. But it's a really good idea to take advantage of that.
Yes, it is.
So I took my cat to my veterinarian, and everything looks all right. And I have a nice room set up for this new furry friend, and I'm home now. And you're saying basically we're going to be in a separate room. They're going to sniff each other under the door, maybe get used to their smell, and maybe even just accept their existence. But then isn't it a good idea also sometimes maybe to let them roam into each other's territory without them being there, to kind of get used to the smell that they are marking in those rooms? Like the new cat that's adopted, is it a good idea for that cat to roam outside their room after a few days or so to discover and explore the house and smell?
It is. Again, you have to go by what they're telling you with their body language. If they both seem comfortable, they're eating well, not hiding, then they're relaxing into the new situation. So you can, again, under supervision, start letting the new cat out and just pay attention to their body language. If there may be some hissing, but as long as they're giving each other space, not directly confronting each other, then you can just let them start roaming and exploring the new house. But again, under supervision. Yeah. And then put them back in their room.
Yeah. One time when I adopted a cat, I tried a system I came up with was to put her on a leash and harness, and I let her sit with me in the living room every evening for an hour or two when I was watching TV or just hanging out. And she was the one that was more upset of having the others around, and she wanted to kind of do some bad stuff there. But because she was on a leash, I would give her a certain amount of distance to roam around, but not really get away from me to get in contact with them. So every day, slowly, my other cats, they started sleeping on a cat tree that's really close to her on the couch. Later, they would kind of like just pass her really close and sniff her and go away because they knew she couldn't really get to them. And so we did this for a month. And finally, when I took her off the leash, they already kind of knew each other. This was something I just came up myself, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is I'm just wondering if you have your own little tricks that you want to share what you do besides just, putting them in an isolated room.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Again, you're supervising them. They're all safe and have their own area. You can also use a crate or large kennel. That way they're in the same room, but they're both safe. They can't hurt each other. And just let them tell you how they're feeling. If they're doing a lot of hissing or growling, it may take longer. But they all acclimate at their own speed, and you don't want to force the situation.
And that could also change their, usual habits, such as like appetite and sleep patterns and stuff. So it's not really necessarily something potential pet owners should stress about. And then maybe first few days, right? I mean, it's a huge change for cats, and we know cats dislike change a lot. So definitely there could be lack of appetite maybe, or more hiding.
Definitely. They can kind of go on a little hunger strike. You just want to make sure that it's not too long, a day or two, but longer than that, then we need to start changing the situation to make them feel more comfortable, such as the feline pheromones, maybe giving them more space if they're not doing well, coming into contact, and separate them more. Give them more space, basically. Yes.
And make them feel maybe more secure. So at the end, I just want to underline one most important thing from this little conversation we had is, I guess the key here is to have patience. And so we can say patience, patience, patience. You do have to know that this is a huge change for a cat. Some cats, I've seen cats that just, you open the carrier, they go out and they're like, hey, I'm here, what's up? And they just move on with their lives. They're really relaxed. One of the examples is a cat named Triska that you helped me find a home with my parents. And that cat, you take him to any house and he doesn't care where he is as long as he plays and eats. And there's some other cats that, will hide for maybe months and only come out to eat and see you for a while and then go back in hiding again. And so patience is, I guess, for you as an adopting person, the patience is the key in this case.
Definitely. This is a big change for them. And again, cats don't like change. So you want to first be sure that this is something you're ready for, that you have the time and the patience to put into getting them used to each other. Like you said, some cats, they don't care. They just accept change easily. Other cats, it could take months, sometimes years, and they may never truly get along. But just make sure that this is something you have the time and energy and patience for. People a lot of times think cats really are very self-sufficient and don't really require a lot of time, such as dogs. But they really do need patience, and they need your love and attention and understanding.
Yeah, I actually, in one of the resources I read that it's also a good idea if you're adopting to make sure your weekends or your schedule on that adoption period of time is not including you going away when you're just adopting the cat. So let's say you adopt a cat on a Wednesday or Friday and then you have a road trip and you go away for Saturday and Sunday. It's not really ideal for this cat on the first few days to not have you around. I don't know if you agree with that, but it's one of the things I read the other day.
Oh, definitely. This is a big change for this cat kitten that you're getting. So for you to bring it home and then suddenly be gone, or have to have someone else take care of it, or board it somewhere, that's a lot of change all at once. It can be very stressful. It can cause them not to want to eat. It can cause them diarrhea. So you really want to be sure that you have the time when you're looking to adopt. Again, if you're going on vacations, around the holidays, you have a lot going on. So getting a pet and bringing it into the home at the holiday time also is not always the ideal situation. You want to make sure that you have a time period where everything's calm and you can spend a lot of time with the new cat coming in.
Yeah, also if this cat is going to be a indoor-outdoor cat, what is the ideal time to have this cat in your house first and then slowly let it adjust to be an indoor-outdoor? Can you let it out second day, second week, or 2 months later? When does a cat really feel like, okay, this is my territory, even if the door is open, I will stick around and be around the house?
It's a good question. Again, every animal adjusts differently, but generally it's recommended 2 to 3 months is a good period for the new cat to fully settle into their home. If it's a young kitten that you're getting, you want to make sure that it's fully vaccinated, which they're not fully vaccinated until they're 16 weeks. It's ideal to make sure that they're spayed or neutered before you start letting them out. And also, it's strongly recommended to microchip them for identification purposes. But generally, 2 to 3 months is a good time period for them to fully acclimate to their environment, know where they are and where they belong.
Yeah, because if you do this too early, it may cause the cat just not really feel like it's its territory and just simply walk away, maybe to explore or just wander away.
Exactly.
And that's a huge risk, of course, nobody wants to take. So I think we covered the basics of it. Is there anything else you can think of as far as introducing your new pet to your other existing pets in this case?
Again, the biggest thing is patience and safety. You want to be sure that the new pet and the existing pet have safe zones, especially if you're getting a kitten and you have dogs. The dogs may not intentionally want to harm the kitten, but especially if they're bigger dogs, they can want to play and get too rough. Cats as well. A big adult cat could just get a little too rough with the kitten. So you want to make sure that they have safe zones and that until everyone's fully integrated, that you're supervising their interactions.
Speaking of playing rough, is it a good idea then to maybe nail trim your cats? So if there is a situation, whether it's playing or not getting along with the new pet, is it a good idea to trim the nails so it's a little bit safer for them?
It can help to limit injuries, but at the same time, you don't want to stress your cat out. If it's something that they're not used to and you're stressing them out and they're associating it with the new cat, that can cause some issues as well. But it is ideal to trim their nails as one way of preventing injuries. Well, thank you so much for everything you shared, because I know you have the biggest heart when it comes to adopting cats, rescuing cats, or finding homes for them. You're just a wonderful person in that sense for me, and it's great for me to hear this little tips and tricks about how to introduce the pet to your house. And I just want to thank you again for doing this with us. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. All right. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to our Apple Podcast page, or if you're using Spotify, don't forget to follow us on Spotify. Or if you just simply want to listen to our episodes, you can go to chicocast.com/podcast. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to us, and we will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.